was just confirming his email address because recently we were sending him satsang notes and his email was bouncing. So I just had texted him his email address, and then he got on a phone call and we talked about it, and then we were saying એકાદશીની લંચમાં ગમે ત્યારે મળવું હોય ત્યારે આપણે મળીએ because he has now moved to Shamburg area. That's where my work is. And so I said આજે તો એકાદશી છે એટલે maybe we'll not meet today, but next time. And then he forwarded me a couple of pravachans from Soromangal Swami. And I remember something funny which based on what Ketan Bhai was saying. સર્વમંગલ સ્વામી લોયાનું બાર વચનામૃત પર કથા વાર્તા કરતા હતા, અને એમાં he was talking still about સવિકલ્પ નિશ્ચય, the lowest form of conviction in God. He was talking and explaining about that. And something funny that he said was કે સ્વામીજીએ આપણા બધાના હૃદયમાં સ્થાન લઈ લીધું છે, એટલે આપણા બધાનું એ તો દિંગર અંકલે કેમ કે તમે કહેતા હતા કે એકાદશી માટે પૂછ્યું હતું ત્યારે દિંગર તમારે હૃદયમાં સ્થાન લઈ લીધું છે, પછી કે સ્વામીજી કે આપણે હૃદયમાં સ્થાન લીધું છે પછી હવે પગ પોળા કરે છે. He's taking over our heart now. He has taken this part and now he's taking over it by Sarvanga was saying કે આપણું જે સ્ટાર્ટિંગમાં સત્સંગમાં આવ્યા ત્યારે દિવાલ બાંધી ઘર બાંધી દીધું, દિવાલો ઊભી કરી દીધી, બાણી દરવાજા બધા જેમ હતા એમ રાખ્યા. હવે નાવ સરસ રૂફ થાય છે, the windows are getting a glass panel, there's paint happening. હવે એનો ઉઠાવ લાવે છે. એવી રીતે આપણી જે સ્પિરિચ્યુઆલિટીની જે આપણું જે બંધાન છે દિંગર અંકલે બાંધી આપ્યું આપણને આટલા વર્ષોમાં. ના હવે આપણને લાગે કે દિંગર અંકલ ટફ નથી, હવે આપણને સવારે છે દિંગર અંકલ. હી ઇઝ મેકિંગ અસ perfect. He's making us, more adorable. So that's what Dingar uncle is doing. ક્લાસ સવારના એ સાંભળતો હતો સર્વમંગલ સ્વામીનું, અને હું હસવું આવી ગયું કે સ્વામીજી તારે પગ પોળા કર્યા.
અને પછી એમની સુરતી ભાષામાં બોલે.
બીજી એક સર્વમંગલ સ્વામી એક વાત કરતા હતા કે કન્વિક્શનની વાત ચાલતી હતી, અને સુરતમાં એક જગ્યાએ in Surat there was a devotee, and Surat Swami છે એમના કઝિન બ્રધર થાય, એન્ડ પધરામણીમાં ગયા હશે અને ત્યાં આગળ he was complaining કે સ્વામીજી બધાનું જ કામ કરે છે પણ મારું તો આટલું થતું નથી, મારું આટલું આ વ્યવહાર. કોઈકે પૂછ્યું નોર્મલી કે જે કેવું છે બધું સરસ છે ને, as a normal courtesy we ask how's everything going, what's up, and he started a whole thing. So saru, nothing is going on good, Swamiji is doing everyone's work, everyone else is happy, but mine nothing is happening, એટલે 15-20 મિનિટ ચલાવ્યું એમને કે મારું કંઈ થતું જ નથી, અહીંયા આગળ આ શું છે. એટલે એક સાથે હરિભક્ત હતા, એમનાથી રહેવાયું નહીં, તો એમને કીધું કે જો તમારા સ્વામીજી તમારું કામ નથી કરતા તો બીજે કશે તમે જાઓ ત્યાં તમારું કામ થતું હોય, તો કે એ ના થાય. આ તો સહન નથી થતું એટલે કહીએ છે. વોટ એવર સ્વામીજી ઇઝ મેકિંગ અસ ગો થ્રુ, વી આર નોટ એબલ ટુ ટોલરેટ, દેટ્સ વાય આઈ એમ કમ્પ્લેનિંગ. બટ આઈ નો ફોર શ્યોર દેટ માય કલ્યાણ એન્ડ માય અપલિફ્ટમેન્ટ ઇઝ થ્રુ સ્વામીજી. કે वो फ्रॉम आश्रो, कि वो फ्रॉम रेफ्यूज इन गॉड, जैसा भगवान हैज सेड इन वचनामृत, what is the one single most endeavor that takes into account all other endeavors that could be used to attain God. One single most endeavor which is so powerful that it takes into account everything else. And Vachanamrut, God has said there is a refuge of God, Bhagwan no ashro. If we don't go to school, we will not get a degree, So if we don't go to God, we're not going to attain God realization, So it's a very simple thing, but it is so hard to keep, And from the devotees, I was really happy when, મને થયું કે શું, the Sarvanga Swami was saying the prasang, he builds up the suspense. I said the prasang to you in 2 minutes, but he really builds up the suspense, કે મને શું કહેશે આ હવે. but I was really happy and glad that what the devotee said કે મારું કલ્યાણ તો અહીંયા જ છે, આ તો સહન નથી થતું એટલે બોલીએ છે. And so that's the way we are with, and that's the સર્વમંગલ સ્વામી said કે સ્વામીજી બેસી ગયા છે બધાના હૃદયમાં, હવે પગ પોઢા કરે છે. અને આપણે સૌના લીધે દિંગર uncle is really uplifting us. Today a lot of talk was on અખંડ વૃત્તિ. The first Vachanamૃત, Prathamnu Pratham, the first Vachanamૃત, Bhagwan has asked, what is the single most thing that is the most difficult thing to do? What is the most difficult thing to do? And Bhagwan is saying that to maintain constant vritti, constant inclination on God, or constant focus on God is the most difficult thing, and is also the best thing to do. So that is a very one paragraph Vachanamૃત, probably one of the shortest Vachanamૃત, and Bhagwan is saying, he starts out by saying that, And I remember that in 2001, or something like that, I was talking with Dingar uncle about me becoming sadhak, and other brothers had also said, like there was Kalpesh Bhai, Sujesh Bhai, Amit Bhai, Jason Bhai, they were always all there, and I was said ke mare sadhak na marge jવું છે. And I thought, okay, yeah, welcome aboard, it was like that, okay, was સરસ ચલ આવી જા. So then he asked, Dingar uncle gave me something very, I thought at that time was unusual, that Dingar said, why don't you write down 10 points of why you want to become a sadhak. મેં કહું આ તો નવું નીકળ્યું હવે. અત્યાર સુધી આપણે ભાવેશ પટેલ મળે કે એવું કંઈ હતું નહીં, સાધક થવું છે તો it was a good thing, and it was all encouragement. But for me, Dingar uncle said that why don't you write down 10 points of why you want to become a sadhak and email it to me. And so I wrote them down. First of all, I આ શું Dingar કહે છે કે ખબર પડતી હતી કે મારી કંઈ કચાશ છે. You try to introspect, is something wrong in me, my resolution, what's going on, So I told Suj કે Suj, Dingar આવું કહે છે લખવાનું મને. તો મેં પાછું સૂજને એમ કીધું ડાયો થઈને કે તું લખી આપને મારા માટે કે શું કરવું જોઈએ. તો સૂજી ગોટ અપસેટ. મેં કીધું Dingar uncle તને આજ્ઞા આપી છે, you should write it, he's saying something, it means something, so you should do it. મેં કહું આ તો અહીંયા બહાર પડ્યો. So then I said, okay, let me write it. And then I wrote down the 10 points and I sent it to Dingar uncle. And somehow at that time I was thinking, what એવું કોઈ વિચાર નહોતો કે શું કરવું તું, somehow it was just a natural thing, maybe it was bandwagon or whatever, I don't know, it was something natural, but that forced me to think what I wanted to do. And one of the things that I thought of was કે ભગવાન સાથેનું એવું સંબંધ, કે ભગવાનમાં 100% એક ઘડી પણ ભગવાનમાં રહેવાય, not one moment also we stay away from God, એવું one of the points I wrote. And today Dingar uncle was talking about, and I was just thinking and reminding myself that's the first point I had written for myself as a sadhak. And today Dingar was saying how many people would be able to do that. He was talking about that કે ભગવાનમાં કેટલા 100% રહી શકે. And he said કે ભગતજી મારા જેવા હતા, કાકાજી જેવા હતા. Dingar uncle of course is like that. So Dingar, to prayer to you is that લખી તો નાખ્યું પણ you have helped us, and you're also guiding us all throughout the day, all throughout my life. We had also talked about this some time back, that I was in Paris just before the Paris function, and I'd gone on a business trip in Krakow in Poland, and then I had gone to Paris. And so I said, Dingar had called Ankur Bhai, and I was talking to him, and they were talking, and then Ankur Bhai said, Pintubhai is also here. So I said, Jai Swaminarayan, Dingar uncle. So normally Dingar uncle would say, Jai Swaminarayan, but he said, this time it was something unusual. He said, so beta murti marine kaam થાય છે ને બધું. So I'm like, I don't know how to answer that, Dingar uncle. That's what I told him, Then he started laughing, And then we just talked about it. And then, so Ankur Bhai and then me were sitting in the night and saying, what was Dingar uncle trying to say? કે આપણે કંઈ મૂર્તિ મારી નથી કરતા, કે because આપણે consciously તો વિચારતા નથી, because we were doing so many activities, because we were preparing for all the Paris function, and there were lots of things to do. And so we were not giving a conscious attempt of doing that. So what is Dinkar uncle trying to say? Is there something that we're missing or we're not focusing on? And we talked about it. And then when I came back, I brought this question back up to Dinkar uncle. And then Dinkar uncle said that normally when we start our actions, we are maybe like, first of all, like we'll be first 100% in the activity, Then slowly we withdraw our focus, and we become 80% in the activity, and then 20% in God, And Dinkar was saying that we want to get into a state where it is only maybe 20% in activity and 80% in God, And then he was explaining the technique, and the technique is also explained in Gadada 1st 23, where God is saying that you make two bhags of the vritti na bebhag. Your focus is divided into two parts. The first part is actually focused on God, and the second part is focused on ourself. One focus is on God and one focus on ourself, and that way Bhagwan was explaining that we focus on ourselves કે અને ભજન કરતું જવું, કે ભજન કરનારો પોતાની પર એક ફોકસ રાખે કે how much am I remaining, how much am I actually focusing on God. And એમાં આખું explanation છે, maybe I don't get too much in the detail over there, but so Dinkar uncle has been guiding us, all this time. Dinkar uncle knows what our goal is. Dinkar knows exactly what he wants to give us, and so we are in the journey. The more cooperation we give, the faster it is. A few days back I was telling Dinkar uncle that I feel that recently my relationship with has become very intellectual. I relate to you very intellectually. And Dinkar uncle says, it's not like that, because I know I know your soul, and I know that you have devotion within you, and you are just trying to clarify. But then he said that, but he's giving his own example, and his example was with he has given this example at least to me, like, I don't know, so many times now. I can't remember now, but he's given me example several times. It was example with him and Sudha auntie, that before, I think it was in the year of 80, I'm going to say 79 or 83, Sudha auntie now je prasang 83 ma 81 ma, right? Because Sudha auntie passed away in 81, right? So must be 80 then. Yeah, 80. So in year 80, Dinkar uncle Dinkar always actually was very inclined towards celibacy and brahmacharya. It's also one of the 4 pillars of Hinduism, Satya, Sauch, brahmacharya, and ahimsa. These are the 4 pillars of Hinduism. And brahmacharya, he was always inclined towards that. And even before he came into our satsang, he used to always practice brahmacharya. And then Dinkar was explaining one of these days that he read Adbhutanand Swami ni vato, and eમાંથી he made the determination that he would live a celibate life, even being married, and he tried to work with Sudha auntie with that. And Sudha auntie, when the Kakaji came, complained, or not complained, but actually told Kakaji that it's the Dinkar Bhais or Dinesh Bhais were trying to do this. And at that time, Dinkar uncle was very firm and resolute, and it's something that you like doing, right, and you want to do it. And at that time, Kakaji told Dinkar Bhai કે આપણે સુધાબેનને તમે રાજી રાખજો. And Dinkar said, at that time I didn't argue with him. I said yes. Now Dinkar was explaining his own thing to me. He says that, see, if one thing would have been that I really meant it, and I just wanted to please Kakaji, so I said yes. Or I just may have had a weakness in myself, and that's why I said yes. But then I said, when shortly thereafter Sudhaben passed away, and then Dinkar uncle had the whole opportunity of getting remarried. And at that time, he didn't get remarried, despite of all the pressures and of all the different things, he didn't get remarried. And so that showed that he was resolute of what he wanted, If there was any weaknesses, he would have gone the other way around. And then he was saying that, but I said yes to Kakaji, and Kakaji was really happy with that. So he was telling to me that, yes, we engage intellectually, but in front of Mota Purush, say yes. And now sometimes you feel, is that really like blind faith, or we're just blindly saying yes? Are we not supposed to actually digest it, more? But so many things we blindly say yes to, so many things, we blindly put faith in the pilot who's going to, fly us. We blindly put faith in the guy, in our company. We work there, right? I mean, we have faith they're going to write a paycheck. We never see the money. It comes electronically, goes electronically. But we have faith in the whole government system, over here. We have faith in social security, some of us at least do, and so we don't think twice in those things, and even in like when we go to school, when something is we can say all we want, but we accept science on the face value first, and then we start to understand it more, so we accept so many things on the face value. And what Dingar was just trying to say is that just accept it on the face value, and you will know, and you will enjoy the ride, you will enjoy how you will see how it is helping you. Because I remember, one prasang, and I'm not going to go into the detail of that. 6 months back, that thing had come with me, and was talking to Dingar uncle, seeking for clarification. And I'm at that same conclusion now after 6 months, which, I could have been there in the first day, But, it's okay. It's a learning ride, When Guruji was saying that, this time he went to Guruji was saying that Kakaji, you should tell him something. Kakaji કહેતા હતા કે બાપાની જ યોજના છે, આપણે વિમુખ થયા છે. તો ગુરુજી કે પિન્ટુ એવું લાગતું હતું કે આ લોકો ખાલી આપણને છે ને કોને ગોળ ચોપડે છે, they just making up stuff for us, and they just making up a story, so we all be happy, we all be motivated, but they're just making up stuff. And Guruji is saying that today I realize, or not today, meaning sometime after a long time after Kakaji passing away, I realized that in fact that was Bapa's plan, and that's how Kakaji and Papaji and everyone wanted, and it was exactly the way it was. I was fully convinced about that. So he's saying, what's the difference? Now we are at peace and we are happy, So what's the difference? So the difference, you are saying, જો ત્યારે માની લીધું હોત તો એ સુખ ત્યારથી આવવાનું ચાલુ થઈ ગયું હોત. If we had accepted at that time, then we would have actually experienced that happiness and that bliss from that point onwards, But we take time and we to convince ourselves, and then we elongate that process, which is probably okay, because in Gunat's time frame, it's scary even talk to Dingar uncle about time frame. Because we were talking about something, and his time frame is not like hours, months, years, it's births, and that's short time, births is short time. I'm like, boss, but so I know we don't have patience for births, but Gunatit has patience for births, because they look at because literally, if you think of it, right, the lifeline of a soul, right? If it's something which is eternal, it's been gone through so many different life forms, and has been living for such a long time, and in that couple of births is really, really a short time, But where we are consumed by our mind and intellect, we don't have the patience, So if you don't have the patience, then let's be consistent, and then if you don't really have the patience, then if you want to really speed this up, then let's put our foot on the gas and let me say yes. The whole Gita was for Arjun to say yes. So I say this, Dingar uncle, but I'll try my best. It's just dragging this on. I did an email to Dingar uncle that my intellect is hitting a ceiling, and so I'm going to. This is what I'm going to do, as a disclaimer, as if I need to tell him anything like that, I told him that I'll first, I'm going to have an open dialogue with you and then pray afterwards. Then second step would be I'll pray first and then have an open dialogue. And then third step I'm hoping is the only prayer and I never have to talk about that. I know what you want me to do, So looks at Dingar uncle, I'm done with the first step. If that is needed for me, the second step is needed, or you can directly put me in the third step, that we naturally understand what you want, Dingar uncle, and we tune to you, because there's not been a moment in your life where you have not thought good for us, where you have not wished better for us, for all of us here, there's not been a moment in his life, that we're talking to Art, that it's very amazing that everyone feels connected to Dingar uncle. That Dingar uncle has got my back, or Dingar uncle understands me. And today in world, two friends can understand each other. Two husband and wife cannot understand each other. They don't have that faith. But over here, people, not from a spiritual perspective, but I think there is a certain human connection that Dingar uncle makes with each and every person, that they feel that yes, he understands me and he wishes the best for me. And so there's not a moment of your life, Dingar uncle, that you have not thought of pushing us forward and progressing us. So we pray to you, Dingar uncle, that without you saying that we understand what you want us to do, and we please you, God, and all the Saints. Sajan Sai Maharaj Nija.